how to get into maintenance. If you've ever wondered if you're already in a plant or you wanted to switch to a plant to apply, there's a form that you fill out. They give it out every year, and for my facility, it was March 31st. So next year in March, it'll be up for another open season, and you collect this form from the facility. I don't know if you can do it through Light Blue, but I think it's this special form. And you fill it in, the positions you're interested in, and you email it, uh, or you can hand it in to your supervisor, but usually I recommend to email it. The thing about the email uh, is you have to follow up with it after a couple days that you submit it after the deadline. Make sure you follow up with the email because I found in my case, uh, whoever was on the other end uh, taking these applications wasn't on top of things, and it took a couple tries, a couple emails back and forth for them to actually send me the invitation to take the exam. And a couple things to know about the exam is there is a website. It's not the exact website, but you can Google e-postal assessment system, and that's where you can sign up for the specific testing center near you, and schedule a time for that testing center that works out for you. So as far as the types of questions you're going to be asked for the test, it's broken up into two parts. The first is Multicraft. That's experience that you already have before going into the test. That's covers, if you've ever taken ASVAB, it covers electrical theory, mechanics, different aspects of mechanical working theory. And the second part is spatial relations, and that's taking abstract shapes and trying to match them up together. Some of them will even be a top down view of an object, and your goal is to match it up with one of the answers down below. And for the whole test, it's about 2 hours that you have a time limit for, but you can get it done easily in half that time. Um, Especially if you've practiced tests before, where you finish a little bit more quickly and you have time, the time that you have left, you use to double check the answers. I find this to be a good strategy for this one as well, especially the spatial relations test. And the spatial relations section of the test is actually weighted a little bit more than the multi-craft. So if you wanted to focus a little bit more on one of them, spatial relations is a better one to study for, but don't neglect the multi-craft because it's also very closely weighted. And this is an example of the multi-craft questions. This is going to be experience-based section of the exam, and in this example, it's uh, trying to line up, what tools you would use for a given situation. Like on the first one, box wrenches are safer than open-ended wrenches, um, or the proper fastener to use to join two wires. If you've had any previous experience, it would help out in this test, and it's something that's kind of difficult to study for because it's a really wide range of questions that they can ask you for this. So the best way to practice for this is if you've taken an ASVAB test before, you have a book for that, or I'll link one down below on the video for mechanical type questions. You can find those on Amazon as well. And you have a time limit for this section of about 1 hour. And the second half is spatial relations. So this is matching abstract shapes. And if you see something like handwriting on this page, that was some of my handwriting earlier when I was trying to practice with these. So just ignore it. But basically, this one you have less time to complete, but these are, I think, a lot easier. They seem, uh, they seem like they would be pretty easy, but they can be tricky, which is why I recommend even for stuff like this to practice them as much as you can. This is another example of the spatial relations test. So they'll be showing you a top-down view of an object, and you're supposed to match it up with um, one of the shapes at the bottom. One tip that I found is because it's easy to get confused with all the information they put out. So I use one reference point in the shape, and then I try to match it with one of the corresponding shapes down below. That way you have one reference point, so that makes it a little bit easier to focus on, so you don't get overwhelmed by matching every little part of the diagram to the answers. It makes it a little bit easier. So when you finish the exam, um, I think it takes about a day or a couple days for the results to show up. Should be next day. Um, but I don't think there's a score unless you pass. So it'll give you the categories that you fall under, um, that the skill sets fall under, and it'll give you an idea if you're weak in one position or you stand out in one. It'll show you what type of position within maintenance that you'd be best suited for, and then it'll break it down further by what areas you were strong in, like AC/DC theory, pumps, piping, welding, stuff like that. Um, where for mine, I didn't pass, so it doesn't really show a score for mine. I don't think it shows a score at all. But yeah, like most of my categories are low. The only high category I had was welding and rigging, and that one, to be honest, is just guessing. so so yeah, that's the exam for you and the results, how you get to the results, and I'll show you a way to check the results because it should be in the email. They should send you an email when they're available. The email that you get when they confirm the appointment, at the bottom, it should have the website that you log into to get to your results, and your login is the same employee ID and password you use for Light Blue.